Alright guys, good morning. Here is our notes on rates. Okay, we're going to be looking at what rates are and then specifically unit rates and how to calculate them. Okay, so let's start with some definitions here. A rate is a ratio. So we just looked at ratios, right? Comparing two things. A ratio that compares two different quantities. Okay, so we'll still be using the fraction to show that we have a ratio, but instead of comparing like length to length or volume to volume, that's what we were doing before, where we converted one unit to the same as the other one because we were both measuring volume or weight or length or time or whatever. Now we're going to be comparing two totally different things that we won't be able to change one to match the other. Okay, so for example, if we have something like 10 miles to 4 hours. Okay, so here we're comparing distance and time. So this is a rate, okay, and then we're specifically going to be doing unit rates. So unit rate is a rate with a denominator of 1. Okay, to change the rate to a unit rate, you just need to divide the numerator by the denominator. Okay, so the numerator is going to be the number that comes first. The denominator is going to be the number that comes second in the problem. You just set that up as a fraction, and you're going to need a calculator here. You're just going to divide this out on your calculator. So let me show you what I mean here. So if we were to take this and make this a unit rate, we would write this as 10 miles over 4 hours. And we could divide that, and it's going to be 2.5 miles. Okay, and this like sideways division bar, the slash mark, is still going to show that we're dividing. This is still a ratio, but we don't need to make it a proper fraction, right? Because the bottom is now going to have a denominator of 1. So we're just going to keep the units on the bottom. So 2.5 miles per hour. Okay, I think we need to fill this in over here. Yeah, write rates using the symbol backslash. This is read as per. So just like in our example up here, 2.5 miles per hour. That's how we read that. So let's get started on some of these practice problems. So the directions ask us to express each rate as a unit rate. Okay, so that means we're going to be dividing round to the nearest tenth when necessary. Okay, the tenth is just the first number after the decimal. So 364 miles in 7 hours. Well, this is going to be the numerator, 364 miles in 7 hours. I'm just going to get on my calculator and divide this out, and it ends up being 52 miles per hour. That's it. That's all it is. Let's do one more. 50 yards. 50 yards in 6.4 seconds. If I just put this in my calculator to divide, I'm going to have to round this one. So instead of an equal sign, I'm just going to use an approximately equal to. We talked about that at the beginning of the year. 7.8 yards per second. And there's my answer there. Okay, so go ahead and finish numbers 3 through 8. The first one's going to be the numerator. The second number is going to be the denominator. You really just divide them in the calculator and then write the new units. Okay, so let's jump down to number 9. This says the table below shows the number of teachers and the number of students at each of the 4 middle schools. Which school has the most students per teacher? Okay, so this should tell you students per teacher. There's our unit rate. We want students on the top and number of teachers on the bottom. Okay, so what we need to do for each one of these is we need to set up a calculation of students first and students on the top and teachers on the bottom. Okay, so this one is going to be, there's 840 students I'll just use S for students, and 34 T for teachers. If I multiply this out, I'm going to have to end up rounding. This is approximately 24.7 students per teacher. Okay, this one's going to be 675 over 40, which is going to be approximately 16.9. Again, just do this on your calculator. Just make sure you're putting the number of students on top and the number of teachers on the bottom. We have 604 on top, 31 on the bottom. That is approximately 19.5. And this last one will be 578 divided by 28, approximately 20.6 students per teacher. Okay, which school has the most students per teacher? Okay, so then we need to look at basically which one of these numbers is the biggest. Okay, which one has the most students per teacher, right? Since students were on the top, we're just looking for the biggest number, and it looks like this first one here, which would be Edgewood Middle School, has the most students per teacher. Okay, so number 10, Jake, Kylie, Gabe, and Curran took various road trips over the weekend. Whose car gets the most miles per gallon? Okay, so miles per gallon, you're going to have to find the miles per gallon for each of the 4 names there, okay? And then decide which one is the most. Okay, now we're going to look at unit rates with price. Okay, so this is like a price per whatever the thing is, okay? Unit prices give the cost per 1 unit. This is especially helpful in comparison shopping in order to find the best deal. When finding a unit price, always divide the price by the quantity. And quantity means just the number of things. So if we're talking about 5 cans of soup, oh, that's the first one there. 5 cans of soup, that's what you're dividing by. If we're talking about, why am I having such a hard time coming up with, if we're talking about 3 pairs of shoes, you're going to divide that price by the 3 pairs of shoes. Okay? Directions: express each rate as a unit rate. Round to the nearest cent when necessary. Okay? So, divide price by quantity. Same thing here. So, let's set this up. We have 9, well, we actually don't need to write it that way. We just need to write the 9.4 divided by 5. That is approximately equal to 1.88. And this is rounding to the nearest cent, okay? And so we always have 2 places for cents, right? Because we have 50 cents up to 99 cents. Okay, $1.88, and this is going to be, so this top here, this unit is right here in the dollar sign. Okay, so we don't need to make sure we don't need to write another unit for the top. We just have $1.88, and then per, let's make this a little bit more of a slash, per can. Okay, and there is our final answer. Okay, a box of tissues for $3.19. So the price on top, 3.19. To a box of tissue, so it's $3.19 for 1 box, but we must be being asked what is it per tissue. So divided by 210 tissues is equal to $0.02 for 1 tissue, which we know is in cents, but we're going to keep it, it's just 2 cents, but we're going to keep it in dollars there. Let's just do one more. 15 gallons of gas for $31.35. So 31.35 divided by 15 equals $2.09 per gallon of gas. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so the rest of these are just going to roll the same way. You just have to make sure you know which one is the price, and that's what you're going to put on top. And then the number, the unit number, or the quantity on the bottom. That's what you're dividing by. Let's just take a look at this last one. It looks like there's a couple questions here. Determine whether option A or option B is the better deal. Okay, so option A, you can get 64 crayons for $2.99, or option B, 120 crayons for $6.99. Okay, so we need to, in order to see what's the better deal, we need to know what the price is per crayon, what the unit price is. Okay, so here we have 2.99 divided by, what is it, 64, which is equal to 0.05 per crayon. I'm just gonna shorthand it there. Okay, so 5 cents a crayon. And then 6.99 divided by 120 is going to be $0.06 per crayon. So 6 cents a crayon. So we're going to be choosing option A for this one because it is the less expensive deal. Okay, and that's what you're going to do for 22, 23, and 24 too. You're just going to compare unit prices and see which one's a better deal. All right, good luck.